afternoon, everybody. Game Time Brian here, otherwise known as the Mailman, hanging out here on a Monday morning, doing a video. Very excited about what's going to happen today. Today is really the first day of actual football. I mean, we could sit here and talk about OTAs. We could talk about last week. Literally, they put the pads on today. Monday, July 31st. Dallas Cowboys put the pads on for the first of 9 padded practices before the start of the season, which is kind of crazy. If you guys remember back in the day, man, padded practices, 2-a-days. Well, have the times have changed, but we do need to put the pads on. Mark Holmes always likes to say, you have to practice, you have to practice. Mark, as I've been saying, I agree with you that we need to practice, but this is the time of the period, as the years go on and we see the devastating knee injuries, you already see Mukwamo with the soft tissue injury, as well as Donovan Wilson. I kind of hold my breath. I just kind of hold my breath really about everything. I'm just worried for injury, but I understand we got to practice. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to practice, starting today. And we still have some unanswered questions. Just looking at the roster, man, it's very, very different than I thought I would be, and we'll get into the early predictions of our roster predictions and how many people from each position group actually make the team. It's not really what I thought. Even just last week, when you really look at the numbers, to break this team down to the 53 is not easy. It's just not. So there's going to be some camp battles, and we're going to go over some of the camp battles. Really surprised when I got into the numbers, and I'm going to go light in some positions just because we can't allow too much talent to be floating around there. We lost a guy out of Arkansas last year to the Washington left-hand up Commanders. That was a tough one. Losing him to the big D tackle that we liked coming out of the draft, me and Primetime Phil, even Mark really likes him. It was very tough to see, and then we ended up letting the guy that we kept him for, who ended up signing with Houston, the D tackle. He's gone anyway, so we might as well have kept the young guy. So I'm very confused about that. But let's talk about Zach Martin. Zach Martin is holding out. His fines are getting up there already. It's $50,000 a day. I expect, he had made I think he sent a text to his teammates basically saying, I'll be in soon. So, that's all well and good that you're going to be in soon. But the fines keep going up, and Jerry Jones, for the first time that I've ever remembered, basically said, you agreed to a deal. We paid you at the top of the market. In their minds, they gave him long-term security, and he's still number 7 out of his position now as he's getting late in his career. And he brought up Micah Parsons. He brought up, we need the money to pay Micah, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, people. He should not have done that. He just should not have. He should not have done that. You don't do that to somebody else. You just don't. But I think he's going to be in this week in a couple days. That's just me. I just can't blame Zach. It's his last dip into the money. He's probably got 3-4 years left. His agent probably came to him and said, listen, this is what you need to do. So we can't sit here and say that Zach doesn't deserve the money, because he deserves it. And if I was his agent, I would be like, yo, show me the money! He showed me the money, man. It's his last dip into the pot, and I think that he's due. Just very surprised that Jerry Jones would bring up Micah and say that's why that we can't pay so and so. I just don't think it's right. So that being said, I think Zach will be in this week sometime. He knows he needs to get work done. He wants to be a Cowboy. He just wants to make a few more million. It's not the end of the world, people. I keep hearing this buzz about, I was on a live stream Saturday night with my partner, Primetime Phil. We had Space Cowboy Media on, and we had Cole's Cowboys. And I got an alert on my phone basically saying Jonathan Taylor has formally requested a trade. Now the owner has come out and said, we're not trading you. Of course, Dallas Cowboys, they're the top destination. After looking at the numbers, it makes no sense at all. When you people look into a 53-man roster, look at the salary cap, we're already going to make some heartbreaking decisions. But Jonathan Taylor is not coming to the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke Elliott, barring injury, is not coming back. I think Zeke and Dalvin Cook, because now Dalvin's saying he would like to play for the Cowboys and share the backfield with Tony Pollard. Yeah, that would be great. Everybody knows I'm a huge Dalvin Cook guy. But it's just not going to happen. And I don't want to say, well, ifs and buts, if this guy gets hurt. As of now and how I see it, the running backs we got aren't all going to make the team. Barring anything catastrophic, none of these guys are coming to the Cowboys. But I would advise Dalvin and I would advise Zeke to hang in there. There's going to be, unfortunately, some attrition at these running back positions, and they're going to be picked up. It may not be for what they want, but they're going to be picked up, and that's just a fact. So really, really getting excited for the start of the season. We are 38 days, people. 38 days and counting to kick off September 7th. The Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't believe we're that close to the first NFL real game of the year. Excited about it, but I'm more excited about that Sunday night football game, the Cowboys at MetLife against the newly paid Daniel Jones and the franchise tagged Saquon Barkley, and a lot of talent that they have assembled coming off a playoff year with new coach Brian Daboll, who I'm on record as saying I really think he's a good coach, really good motivator. I expect the Giants to be even better this year. Still below us, but that's not, we won 12 back-to-back. I really expect this team, meaning the Cowboys, to go to the next level. How far? Health is going to play and dictate that. But 41 days until the Sunday Night Football with Cowboys at MetLife against the Giants. I will be in attendance. Looking very, very forward to it. I just holding my breath. I'm holding my breath that we can get through training camp relatively unscathed. But I want to get into some of the position battles. Now, just mind you, not a lot. Some of this will be handled by injuries. Injuries are a part of the game. Injuries are going to happen. They just are. When I break down these battles, and it's at the end when I do my preliminary positions, how many I think is going to make it at each position, and I'm going to break down the roster the training camp battles now. Injuries will play a part. There will be guys that start out on the season on short-term IR or the PUP list because of the preseason game injuries, because of practice injuries. Hopefully it's nothing bad. But just looking at it now, it's rough, man. It really is rough. But the roster battles I want to go through, starting with, and I'll just start with the offense. Dak is Dak. It's Cooper Rush versus Will Grier. Now, I originally said I thought um, that Dallas would go with three quarterbacks, but I don't know that that's the case, and I'll break that down when I do my final position battle. But Cooper Rush versus Will Grier, who's going to be better? Whoever plays better in the preseason, my guess it'll be Cooper that gets the nod, and they'll try and sneak Will Grier to the practice squad. If he's eligible, I don't even know if he is. I'd have to look at that. But if you're asking me now, that's what it would be. But injury, um, but I don't, like I said, I kind of doubt we're going to keep three. I just do. So look out for Cooper Rush because Dak ain't seeing the field. Dak ain't seeing the field, if at all, in the preseason. They're just not going to show their cards for the offensive scheme reasons. They're going to keep everything bland and vanilla. They have three preseason games, and I don't know. This might be a situation where they may not win any of them, and I could care less. I really could. Because if they were smart, they would hold the bulk of their offense for week one, and that's going to be a big help. If you can go into any game, especially the first game of the year on the road in prime time, um, with any kind of advantage and is something in your pocket, you want to do that. Both teams are already, these assistant coaches are already going to start working on. They've already started working on that Giant game. That's just how it works in the NFL. So, sticking with the offense, we're going to go with Malik Davis and Ronald Jones. If they're both healthy, my opinion is they're both not making the team. So early edge, I would say, would be Malik Davis. But, just look out for that. If there's any sort of injury, then that player will start out on PUP, and then the battle will go with the other guy against Rico Dowdle. Rico, you could most likely slide on to the practice squad. But we'll get to my final positions and everything, but that's a battle. I'm just going to say it now. Well, I hold that. That's a juicy one, so we'll hold that one. Offensive line. I don't know that either of these guys are, I like our rookies, but here's the problem when you draft rookies, especially offensive linemen. When you draft them, or and we being one of which we signed the free agent, but we gave a lot of money to out of the University of Oregon, T.J. Bass. When you do that, is these guys aren't ready necessarily for the NFL, strength-wise. Both of these guys, Asim Richards and T.J. Bass, have really good futures in this league. They drafted Asim. I think one will make it, but they definitely want to get both to the practice squad. But Josh Ball versus Chuma Edoga. Everybody being healthy, they're both in jeopardy. I don't know what this. I don't know what this coaching staff sees in Josh Ball. I know that Matt Farniok is his position flex, and I will get into that when I break down my final roster early. This is before preseason, people. It's just when I was kind of taken back when I looked at it and really dug into it. I don't think either one of these guys should be on the team. But I did tell you that they drafted Chuma Edoga, or they signed Chuma Edoga. They tried to get him last year at the trade deadline. He ended up going to Atlanta. They obviously don't think that much of him because Atlanta gave up a conditional pick, and they chose not to re-sign him. They wanted a guy like this for the preseason. He's going to get a lot of work in the preseason, because you need to evaluate with NFL players. You just can't throw rookies at every position and expect to be able to evaluate properly your young guys, whether it's a young receiver, young tight ends, you know, quarterbacks. Uh, that's just, in my opinion, why he was brought here. He was brought here on a minimal deal. He's a veteran, average at best. But yeah, if you can go young, especially with these contracts, you want to go young. So look out for that. Josh Ball and Chuma Edoga, but the young guys, Asim Richards and T.J. Bass. I'm hoping you can get them both to the practice squad, but it's one of those deals you roll the dice. I'm going to switch now. Those are my main battles on offense. Wide receiver. I'm going to explain later why there's not much of battles. You may be battling for practice squad, but I kind of think, barring injury, things are kind of set there. But going over to the defensive line, and this is where we are going to let go starters that are going to make it in this league. They just are. There's going to be starters that we cut that are going to be, there's going to be guys that we cut that are going to make other teams and play. That's just it. But barring injury, both of these guys are not on the team. They're not. If everything is good and nobody suffers a long-term injury or has to start the year out on some sort of list, Neville Gallimore versus Quinton Bohanna. Who's going to step up? Now I'm starting to hear, well, Neville, he's looking good. Quinton Bohanna is a mammoth of a man, but if Neville can offer you more consistent and, more importantly, disciplined play, he will give you more pass rush than Quinton Bohanna. So if I had to guess now, Neville has the inside track, but you know that Neville was in the doghouse last year. Neville Gallimore was in the doghouse. Why? Not real sure. Everybody's speculating as to why, but that's a battle, man. Barring injury from other guys, they're both not going to be on the team. I think Neville at one point was bordering on an all-pro / Pro Bowler, and then something happened. He had that real bad elbow injury that he lost most of the year. He did come back, but he wasn't the same, hasn't been the same. And he was in the doghouse last year, so watch out for that battle. This next battle is probably, we're at the point now where we can't hold roster spots. But we just can't. We can't hold roster spots for anybody anymore. We have too much talent on a team, and that's a good thing, but a bad thing. When you have a lot of talent roster and your roster is so deep, you can't afford to just keep more than one special teams ace. I'm sorry. You need the guys who could actually play defense. Kelvin Joseph versus Nahshon Wright. Both of these guys can't make the team this year. If both don't play well, Jordan Lewis is on this team. Now, Jordan Lewis, they say he's close to coming back. He had that bad foot injury last year. I don't know that he's going to come back and start the year. I think he's still a pup / possibly injury settlement guy, just because of what he makes. Jordan Lewis's cap hit is $5.9 million. If you cut him, you save $4.7 million. So if Nahshon Wright or Kelvin Joseph, and this is with pads on, people, this isn't 7-on-7, 11-on-11 with helmets, because then, Nahshon had an interception the other day. They're not both making the team. They both may not make the team, but if Jordan's not ready to go, or if one of these guys step up, that's a battle. They're not both making the team. I'm just going to say it right now. One of them will be cut, possibly both, depending on Jordan Lewis. If Jordan Lewis is healthy and he's playing in games looking good, then I'm still going to you stick to my guns that you could possibly trade Jordan. If Jordan Lewis looks good, Nashawn Wright and Boss Man Fat can actually do something, because you got to remember, Boss Man Fat is a better special teamer right now than Nashawn Wright. Nashawn Wright's good, but the one thing that Kelvin Joseph does is he does real well on special teams. I called for it last year with C.J. Goodwin, but I think this year might be it for C.J. I don't know that C.J. makes this team. I said he wouldn't make it last year, but maybe the only way that Boss Man makes it is if they cut C.J. Goodwin. I don't know. We'll get into that when I start doing my roster and final predictions. But that's a tough one. Just keep an eye out on Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright. They're not, in my opinion, not both going to be on this team. The next position is the safety. I would think that this is a tough one because you got Mukwama, who's out. Now, just remember, I think Mukwamu's on this team. Anybody that says they're getting rid of him, especially what he did and the position flex that he offers with his size, you remember that he, in the playoff game at Tampa, he played cornerback and looked damn good doing it. He was a corner in college at South Carolina. So I think he's on the team. I think he could be a guy that's a position flex. He's going to be listed as a safety initially, but could play corner. But, and they love Marquise Bell. So it'll be interesting to hear because, I keep hearing Tyler Coyle, Wanye Thomas, those guys aren't making the team. They're looking at a practice squad. But again, we'll get into that. I'm just breaking down the battles. And last but not least, I think the last position on defense that's going to be hard to really shake down is the linebacker core. My biggest battle, and I think one of them will make the team, but, I don't know. Malik Jefferson versus Devin Harper. I loved Devin Harper coming out of college, but Malik Jefferson is more versatile. But watch out for that battle. How well Isaiah Land looks, this is a kid who I'm afraid to dangle out there. He's the kid who went to Nate Newton's small college and had 19 sacks last year in a small college. But he played in the Senior Bowl, turned some heads. Dallas picked him up. I don't know, man. He's going to get a lot of run in this preseason. He may be a stash. To me, he's a stash candidate. Have an injury type of guy, just to get through this year. But Devin Harper versus Malik Jefferson, they're both not making the team, in my opinion. If all things being healthy, everybody being healthy, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So with that, I'm going to break down, okay? Because I'm looking at my notes here. I'm going to break down. We'll start with the offense, okay? Really looking at it, we can't afford to go with 3 quarterbacks. I think we go with 2 quarterbacks. I'm not going to get the names. I already laid out. But I think we go with 2 quarterbacks. Most likely it's going to be, I'm not going to get the names. Cooper Rush versus Will Grier. But running backs. Here's, my problem with the running backs is you got Tony Pollard, okay, and you got Malik Davis, and you got Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn's on the team, right? Tony Pollard's on the team. So it comes down to Malik Davis and Ronald Jones, like I said. So they're all not going to make the team. Why? Because this man, Hunter Lepke, is on the team. What he's doing in the goal line packages, and he's in a lot, they're actually going to keep a fullback this year. So if you're keeping 4 at that position, Tony Pollard, Deuce Vaughn, which is as of now, to me, a third down guy and situational guy, Hunter Lepke. So it comes down to Malik Davis and Ronald Jones. Everything being healthy, I'm leaning towards Malik Davis. I mean, I just am. So, I mean, that's a tough call because I don't think you're going to get. I think Ronald Jones you could possibly release and get to the practice squad. Malik, I don't think you will, just because he's young, and you see how the league is going with wanting to go cheaper, younger, use them, redraft. That's my opinion. Next in a position group is the tight ends. Um, Jake Ferguson, he's on the team. I mean, he's your tight end one, especially with Luke Schoonmaker, who, assuming he's on the roster at the start of the season and not on, on some injury list. I'm hearing he's coming back very soon. They're being ultra careful with the plantar fasciitis. We'll see. He's going to be a blocker type guy anyway, and I know Space Cowboy was like, well, you really can't take guys in the second round for like fill-in or situational roles. And he's right. You shouldn't. But Dallas Cowboys, other than Sam Williams last year, they're normally rolling the dice on injured guys in the second round. They're very interesting how they draft in the second round. And that's usually the only round that they kind of like deviate. But Luke Schoonmaker is solid at what he does. He's just injured right now. So Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot are on this team. Now, they're going to keep, in my opinion, I mean, I see different people saying that they're going to keep 3. No, they're keeping 4, okay? They're going to keep 4 tight ends because of Luke Schoonmaker. Luke Schoonmaker is making the team as a second-round pick, but, you got Hendershot, who's not, the biggest blocker. He's more of a receiver threat, which will fit nice in this new system. And Jake Ferguson is an all-around guy. Schoonmaker, that's 3. I still believe that Sean McKeon makes the team. He's looking really good. I don't, maybe you can get him to the practice squad. This is a position where you could possibly let go and keep a third quarterback and only go 3 tight ends. But so it's up to you guys. Who do you think that we can bring back more? Will Grier or Cooper Rush to the practice squad, or Ronald Jones or Malik Davis to the practice squad, or Sean McEwen? You think we can get him back to the practice squad? As of now, I'm going with 4. With how I have it, I'm going with 4 tight ends. Let's just roll with it. If we got to put on Schoonmaker, he needs to get out there, hit, run, cut. If he's not ready to go, you could put him on pup if you have to. I like where our tight ends are without Schoonmaker. With him, that just makes our goal line packages and our running game that much better. Wide receiver. Now, I initially said that we are going to go with 6 wide receivers, just based on all the names, right? I just really thought that we would go with, the 6 wide receivers. But I don't think that we can. I think we have to go with 5. Now, just remember, these are my 5, and I will let you know why. As it sits here today, barring injury, it's CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, healthy Michael Gallup, right? Jalen Tolbert, just drafted him last year, looking really good, and Simi Fehoko. That's 5 wide receivers, okay? There's a guy that I didn't add, Kavontae Turpin. He is going to be one of my special teams guys. So, but he also is already getting a lot of work, more than he did last year. Just remember, he played a full USFL season before coming to the Cowboys. So he finally had an off season. He just got married. He's looking good. We're going to keep 5 receivers plus him, so it's basically like having 6. I love the flexibility there. He's going to, be our 5th or 6th. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to keep 5, but he's going to be our primary punt and kick returner. If something should happen to him, we got Deuce Vaughn already on the roster. This next name, who did not make the team, we need to make sure that we don't overexpose him in the preseason. The 6'2" a receiver that we got, Jalen Brooks, out of South Carolina. I really like this kid a lot. Um, he's a super talented guy. He kind of got hidden, kind of like Eric Scott did. He had some issues in college, was banged up. Kind of how we got Eric Scott, Mr. 4.4, who ran a 4.7 at the combine, and not a lot of teams really knew about him, didn't do their homework. Dan Quinn has been following this kid. Look out for Jalen Brooks. We're gonna try and get these next few guys on the practice squad. Jalen Brooks, definitely. People are like, who the hell is Jalen Brooks? Jalen Brooks, just remember that name. If there's injury, then he makes the team. Dennis Houston, get on the practice squad, and one of these next guys, Dontario Drummond, Space Cowboys guy, Jalen Moreno Cropper, or otherwise known as JMC, and you got that Tyron Johnson that they got. He was more of a veteran speedster, but a big guy. There's another guy, David Durden. We'll see who picks up who and who ends up on the practice squad. But we're going 5 receivers this year, book it, and that's not counting, KaVontae Turpin. So that makes a lot of sense. My next, and normally we go 10. We're going 9 O-linemen this year. We're going to go 9. Our starters, you got Tyron Smith starting at left tackle, Tyler Smith starting left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center, Zach Martin at right guard. Yes, we're not trading him. He'll be here. He'll be good to go. And Terrence Steele, who's already practicing, will be our right tackle. Those 5 need to gel in practice. Not so much worried about games. But that's good, right? So we have 4 more guys that we need to get on this team. Matt Waletzko, he's going to be the backup left tackle right now. He just is. He may even be the swing tackle guy. Okay, look for him. Matt Farniok has stepped up to be pretty much the backup in a lot of positions. They really like Matt Farniok. So that's 7. Okay, so now this is where I got into that. If we're only going to keep 2 more, okay, they usually keep around 10, sometimes 11, sometimes 9. But if you have guys like Farniok who have some position flex, just like Tyler Smith, who can play tackle and guard, I think that's where we're going to go, because you got Asim Richards, T.J. Bass, Josh Ball, and Chuma Edoga. Okay, you got 2 centers, Alec Lindstrom and Brock Hoffman. I think you're going to bring one of those back on the practice squad. We're going with 1 center, with Farniok being the backup center on game day, just because of his position flex. So if I got 7 guys with our 5 starters, with Matt Waletzko and Matt Farniok, then out of Asim Richards, T.J. Bass, Chuma Edoga, and Josh Ball, the 2 of them can make the team. I would say go. I would like to, have both of. See, I don't want Josh Ball on the team, so I'd rather you get rid of Josh Ball. Sorry, Josh, nothing. You just haven't stepped up, and you're not looking good as far as things I'm hearing. You're not looking great this year. I'd rather keep a young guy and try and sneak one to the practice squad. I think you can get T.J. Bass to the practice squad. I do. So I would go with Chuma Edoga and Asim Richards and try and get T.J. Bass to the practice squad and get rid of Josh Ball. But if you keep Josh Ball, then Edoga has to go, and then you still do what I said. So that's basically the offensive side. Going over to the defensive side, let's start with the defensive ends. I'll start out with the ends and go right into the tackles. We're going to keep 11 D linemen, including both, okay? D-Law on it. I'm including Micah as a defensive end / edge rusher on my numbers. So you got D-Law, you got Micah, Dorrance Armstrong, Junior Fehoko, the rookie, is turning heads. He's going to be on his team. and Dante Fowler. They actually gave Dante Fowler some money this year. They really like Dante. Those are going to be your five. Barring injury, even not, I think those are going to be your five, a defensive end. They have a Tyrus Wheat, maybe try and get him to the practice squad. Ben Ogu and Darrell Johnson. It, depending on who takes what, they'll have their choice to get those guys on the practice squad. Our defensive tackles, okay? Mazi Smith, Hankins, Osa Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, and Neville Gallimore. I'm hearing the wall. Like Chauncey is on the bubble. He has to step out. It's going to be... No, Chauncey stepped up last year, okay? Chauncey Golston isn't going anywhere. Neville Gallimore, Quentin Bohanna is going to fight for that last spot, like I said. Isaac Alarcon, who was the, offensive tackle that they were able to keep a roster exemption because of the foreign player rule that they had. He's on defense now. Maybe they'll try and bring him back on the practice squad just because of his versatility. And I'm sure Isaac, knowing that the veteran minimum is over $1 million, that's not a bad thing. He's going to be fine. He'll end up on the practice squad. He'll be able to help out with a game prep as a defense or offensive lineman. So that was smart that they actually converted him to defense. He'll be able to give you looks from both sides for the offense. But those are going to be our 11. Micah, Sam Williams, Dorrance Armstrong, Junior Fehoko, Dante Fowler, Mazi, Hankins, Osa, Golston, Gallimore, and that's 10. Maybe Quentin Bohanna. So maybe they can go with 10 there, but I think that they'll probably go 11. Next spot, linebacker. You got Leighton Vander Esch, if he's healthy, Damone Clark, DeMarvion Overshown, Jabril Cox, and it's going to come down to one guy. It's either going to be Malik Jefferson, Devin Harper, or if Isaiah Land looks unbelievable, he can beat them both out. I would try and sneak Land to the practice squad and possibly Harper. I think Jefferson has too much special teams value. I don't know that he'll make it, but possibly. Safety. Okay, we got Donovan Wilson. He's going to be ready to go supposedly for the season, and you got Israel Mukuamu. I'm going to go 5 safeties here. Now that you would think that's a lot, but that's because I'm going to go a little light. I'm going to go 5 D-backs. My safeties are going to be Dono Wilson, Malik Hooker, Jaron Kearse, Israel Mukuamu, and Marquise Bell. That was the thing. I see some people saying, "Oh, we're going to get rid of Marquise Bell. He's not going to make the team because of Mukuamu." No, we're going to keep 5. We're going to keep those 5 because of Israel Mukuamu's position flex and playing a cornerback. We're going to go short on the corners. And the corners, in my opinion, we're going to go, obviously, we're going Diggs. We're going Gallimore. We're going Bland. We're going Eric Scott. And to me, it's going to be either one of 3 guys. Jordan Lewis, Kelvin Joseph, or Nahshon Wright. We can keep one of those because I went heavy with the Mukuamu. We can only keep one of those. If I had to do it right now, I would say Jordan Lewis is not on this team still. And we keep, like I said, Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright. So we shall see. Those are those battles. Special teams is going to be Brian Anger is locked in. Trent Sieg is going to be our long snapper, and Turpin is going to be our punt and kick returner. So that's basically how I'm looking at it. And I'm going to break down our 53. You got QB, we're going with 2. Now, we could go with a third if you want to go light with the tight ends. But as of right now, I'm sticking with 2 QBs, 4 tight ends, uh, 4 running backs. That's including the fullback. So that's 3 running backs, and the fullback. 5 wide receivers, 9 O linemen. You remember Farniok in his position flex. You got Matt Waletzko, can play both tackle spots. 11 on the D line, 5 linebackers, 5 D backs instead of 6 like normal, but we got 5 safeties because we want to keep Marquise Bell, and we like Mukwamu to be able to be that 6th defensive back, and 3 special teams players. So that's it as far as that's concerned. Listen, it's going to be tough. I just hope, again, that we don't suffer a lot of injuries. You know, I just don't want to suffer the injuries. I'm ready to start the season. I'm actually like chomping on the bit. You know, me and Primetime Phil, we're still working out our show. I was going to talk to him later. I'm thinking that we're going to try and do a show on Sunday night at 7 o'clock because I will be at the Hall of Fame. Me and Mark Hum heading to Mark's house on Wednesday evening. We're going to leave first thing in the morning on Thursday to head to Canton, about a 6.5 hour ride. We will be doing some live streams on the way down. Just remember, I will be putting me and Primetime's Phil's link in this video. I'll probably do another video before I head out, but if not, just, don't forget, and we're going to try and do a show this Sunday night, but I will be doing videos on the way down and in Canton, so I will definitely put the link in there. Hall of Fame game is Thursday night. You got the Jets playing the Cleveland Browns. Real quick, did you hear what Aaron Rodgers said? He went off on Sean Payton and said, keep my, his offensive coordinator's name out your mouth. That's good because the Jets play the Broncos after us. I think we're playing the Jets at a good time, but the Jets are putting a team around Aaron Rodgers. Again, like Jalen Hurts, people, you guys are going to watch this. You Eagle fans are going to watch this video. I love Jalen Hurts. I think he's a good guy, a great guy, and super talented quarterback. But he was elevated because of the talent around him. It's good to see that Dallas and Dak is going to have more talent on offense. They didn't have much in the wide receivers with the injuries, and they just didn't have a lot last year. So the fact that we did what we did was fairly impressive. But I'm like ready to start the season, and I'm like, just like talking to these people, especially you Eagle fans. It's just like I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit. I'm all out of bubblegum. You bubblegum Eagles fans. Sorry, I'm all out of bubblegum. So with that, I got to go. Like I said, I'll probably be on tonight with Mark Holmes on his Monday Live. We'll see. He normally sends me the link. He's been busting his butt. Mark, I'll see you Wednesday night, my man, in person. Get ready. We're going to have a fun time. But with that being said, that's today's video. Thanks for joining me. Game Time Brian is out. Peace.